I'm not.
Okay, so
I'm a minor card anymore.
stop streaming.
It will be very. It won't.
I talked really fast. That was like 16 minutes. Last time I timed myself, I was like 20 minutes.
Well, is this working?
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my god. Oh gosh.
Okay.
Whoa! Okay.
So, first of all, I need to do some things. Can you see everything?
Yes. I can see everything.
Okay. Cool.
Yes.
So,
I got a laser pointer.
welcome everyone to my little. Welcome everyone to the San Marino 101. I hope you guys are glad that you picked the college class. So, first thing that you're going to be able to see. San Marino. What is that? That is a ship name between Marina and San Marino. These two little characters. Do not know. Don't look at that. By these lovely artists. And they're women. Yuri. And one of them's transgender.
What?
Now, let's say for you to
What?
most likely be the strangest slide that I will go up, but it is important because we need to talk about Fear and Hunger, the game, because they're from the Fear and Hunger 2. And to talk about Fear and Hunger, we need to talk about RPG Maker games and the importance of not safe for work games, 18 plus content. So, RPG Maker games, this is something that you all probably know. I did two great examples, Yume Nikki and Omori. RPG Maker is an engine, a commercial engine that is not expensive, really easy to make stuff in, and is like very easy to. It's really good for like artists and writers who don't have a lot of code. You know, this is very important for indie games, and Fear and Hunger is one of these. Then we have to talk about the second one, which Fear and Hunger is also in. This stands for, if you don't know, not safe for work, or stuff that you aren't supposed to be looking at work. I think you can guess, fill in the blanks. Now I picked two high quality, hey, these are pretty popular.
Turn on my
Cloud
lights.
Metal, this is, both of them are gay also. This is very important. Fun fact about this one, this is the only image I could see that was not openly sexual. But both of these are very well made, which is weird for these type of games because they're usually not. But you can always find very good examples. This is a farming simulator where you can date weird monster people and do things with them. This is, you have to save your girlfriend because weird shit. But so Fear and Hunger is in both of these. But something that Fear and Hunger isn't in is this. This is called an H game. Or, as some others know, as Aero games. This is a genre of Japanese not safe for work content type of games. And this is important because if you ever ask anywhere about Fear and Hunger and you ask the question, hey, are there any games like this? You will be given these two games called Black Souls 1 and Black Souls 2. It's similar more in gameplay, and if you do ever think, hey, these are interesting, make sure to read the tags that are put onto it. There's a lot of really bad stuff. But to simply go into this, you're supposed to be a shitty person in this, and they're like fairy tale stuff, and this one's a big Alice in Wonderland retelling. You should put this one in your memory because I will get back to this one because it's important because of good representation. Fear and Hunger 1 by Miro Havarin. This is a RPG Maker game that's technically on like the lit side. There's a couple of
Stretched out my
scenes, but
gourd.
and it's always also made in Finland. You pick out one of four characters, you go into a dungeon, you get your arms cut off, all this horrible stuff. Factions. But what's important is the lore. So this pretty little girl is the girl. Funny enough, there's no canonical name for her. But so in the game, canonically it's Kahara, a Middle Eastern like adventurer kind of guy. Rescues her and brings her down to I don't know what the name of it. It's like a weird flesh pit. And then she turns into this. This is one of the most important characters in this series. This is the god of fear and hunger. She basically, it's complicated on what she actually does, but she like is very necessary for humanity's progression. But of course, the reason why is because she is the daughter of a demigod called Milvin, or not, a new god called Milvin, which is basically a demigod, and this piece of shit, this Griffith ass cunt. His name's Legard, and he just basically this big ancient city underground, and there's a seat that if you sit on, you become a god. And he becomes this guy, the King in Yellow, or that was the original. They changed it, but later. But and basically, what's important is both of these guys fucking hate each other, and they basically go against each other. This guy wants to basically control the whole world because I don't know, fucking he's Griffith, and she doesn't. Some other things is that you need to know is Rokurov is an old god of like blood and murder. Sylvian is an old god of like sex, love, and Almer is basically Jesus Christ, but he kills people. So there are a couple more things I need to talk about this, but we'll talk about them later. Because we have to get into Fear and Hunger 2 Termina by Nero Havarin. Now, first thing you might see is this is the girl in the first picture. This is important. She is very important to this character. And this guy, who looks a lot like the King in Yellow from the first game, he now becomes the Kaiser. And he's basically like Magic Hitler. Basically, I mean, he's basically Germany, but and this is one of the other old gods that got introduced basically in this game, called Rare. Rare is like just like a trickster god who just likes to fuck with people for no reason. I don't know, I think he just likes it. But these 14 people, called the Contestants, go to a city called Praeval in Bohemia, which is basically the Czech Republic. Of course, all these people are really cool, and you can learn a whole bunch of stuff about all these people. They all have reasons, but the most important is these two little bugs. But they go into this city on the train. Also, I totally forgot. The first game is in the Middle Ages. This game is in the 1940s. So they go into the city. They see that the moon has a face, and people are melting. That's basically that's how the game basically starts. Also, it's a battle royale, and they have to kill each other, and the last one standing survives. So, what else is there? Of course, these two, I won't talk about. All these characters are very cool. What was it? Yes. So, now we have to talk about Marina Donna, or otherwise called basically the main character of Terminal. She has basically the most content on her in the entire game. The first thing, she's a trans woman, canonically. Don't listen to anyone on the internet, this is canon. She was raised as a girl from birth because her actually looks like a little bit. She's 18 years old. She's a changeling soul, which basically is like a weird, like, zodiac kind of thing. She was born in pre-evil Bohemia, which is the Czech Republic. She's an occultist. She's a daughter of Father Donak, and she studied occultism at the Vatican, at the Ministry of Darkness, or basically everything. And she was stalked by a certain Saint Marie while at the Vatican, and she has no canonical sexuality. Her hair is some color, gray adjacent color. They don't really get it consistently, but she's a little. I like her. She's really cool, and she has some little piercings. These little dots are piercings.
I just thought that was
Which
acne.
of course shows that she's a very informal person. She doesn't really like being like a super formal person. And then we have to talk about the other character, Saint-Marie, no last name. Most people just call her Saint-Marie Thunder because it's funny. She is a cis woman. She's around 18. Doesn't really have a canonical age. She's a radiating soul. Same thing with that weird zodiac kind of stuff. She was actually born in the Vatican, basically, and a very cool thing about her is that she's canonically a lesbian. She's cool. She's a dark priest apprentice, which I would get into what that is. And she was forcibly part of the ninth circle of famed Vasilika, which is like a weird cult that, or basically the Vatican made this group called the Ninth Circle because the old gods kind of abandoned humanity and they kind of want them back because, like, back in the first game, you could literally just write on a piece of paper asking for, Almer, please give me, like, a super cool sword, and you just give it to me. But now that doesn't really happen because they kind of abandoned. And she was forcibly took part in these rituals that caused the deterioration of her body so she could talk to these gods. Of course, this allows her to be very talented in the occult, and she's very much obsessed with Marina stalking. Now, she's a very weird girl. You can kind of see here, but usually she is supposed to have half of her face basically like very asymmetrical. She's a very odd girl. But before we get into their relationship and why I think San Marino is the greatest thing ever, we have to talk about trans representation. Which one of the biggest things why Marina is so liked and such a good character is because she's such a good representation of being a trans woman and male to female. And all of these are good representation. Bridget and the Celestial, I forgot her name, it's Madeline. But then, because to really show how Marina is such a good example, we have to talk about a bad example. We have to talk about my weird favorite girl, Bill. Bill is from a little game called Black Souls 2. That's a game I mentioned a couple slides ago. Now, Black Souls is about you, a knight who's named Grim, and you have to, usually stop something. First game you have to stop. You have to kill these princesses to stop the world from ending. And the second one, you have to find Alice. Of course, there is a lot of really bad things in the game. A lot of them pornographic. A lot of them involving people who should not be anywhere close. But the writing's good, so a lot of people kind of go, I guess. It's very much, before Fear and Hunger, Black Souls 2 was basically the very controversial RPG Maker game. This is Bill. Bill is, at first, is a maiden. I think a shrine maiden, I think is what they call her. But she is at first called a woman. She's just this basically little, priestess for this god called the snake god. Of course, you talk to her, you have basically the most, obvious, the most cliche fan service kind of thing. And then you find out that she was born a man. Of course, this is kind of where things start to roll apart, and what makes her different from her.
God.
Every person, even her own father, every person calls her a female, and they usually don't really sexualize her too much in the way that she's trans. And this goes into even her own father, who's very transphobic, accidentally correctly genders her correctly, and then going back into misgendering her. Really showing that she's people see her as a woman. Bill, right after you find out that he was born a man, no longer uses she, her pronouns and just say him. Even though technically, I say that it's a woman because she's canonically a heroine, and the game acts as if she's a woman, but all the storytelling is bullshit. Basically, this is how not to write a trans character. This very much is the quote-unquote trap kind of what you would call a trap. This person's trying to trap men into having sex with them because they're a weird man. Of course, these characters are beautiful, amazing. Them, no. Dark priests are basically your Christian priests, but a little bit quirky.
That's one way to say it.
The biggest one, of course, this is just one of the regular fucked up dark priests because of the moon. But one of the biggest ones is this character, who is one of the playable characters from the first game. Of course, he does a whole bunch of stuff, and he becomes enlightened, which basically just means he lives for a whole bunch of time. He's practically immortal, and he does a lot of occultism. Of course, this is in the Middle Ages, I think the 1300s. So a lot of time goes around, and these guys appear. They are a lot closer to regular priests, or otherwise called very bigoted. They follow Ulmer mostly. They follow the other gods, but mostly Ulmer, and they're Christians. That's basically the meaning. And Father Domek is one of them. This is the father of Marina. Of course, he's a very transphobic person. And Marina's mother lied to Father Domek that said, that she was born a girl, because if he found out that Marina was born was a boy, because she hasn't she would have been put through a bunch of horrible shit so she could be dark priest. Basically a whole bunch of abuse and all this stuff. It's kind of why all of them are really fucked up. And of course, there's Father Hugo, who runs the orphanage. He's like 300 years old, and it depends on if you like both cut content and stuff, but he was supposed to be maybe a pedophile, which is really funny because he's a priest. You can laugh. Sorry. So, this is, of course, all screenshots come from either the channel OmniWorld or the Fear and Hunger .youtube, because they're the bad ones. So, of course, in Marina's backstory, they don't really say anything about Samurai, but through the entire game, if you play as Marina, you see Samurai stalking. This is, you start off here, basically, and she's back here, and she locks the car when you get close. And this, before shows the start. This is you sleeping in a bed, and then an event happens where Samurai goes into the house and starts breathing really heavily, and freaks out when she gets caught. Just a little heads up, it doesn't go in that way as most stalking usually goes. It's mostly consensual, weirdly. But, of course, you as Marina can very much, either, kill her, say that she's a weird, or weirdly flirt with her. One of the lines is, take a picture because it lasts longer. This is the start. Samurai is not a playable character. She is, or yet, technically, there new updates. But this is the start. Then you have Marina and Samurai's confrontation at the church. So, Samurai, the reason why Samurai is here is because in the Vatican, of course, Samurai stalked Marina, and she could read her thoughts because of the ninth code. She was really close to a rare, which allows you to read thoughts. So this goes into her finding out about that, hey, Marina doesn't like her dad. Her dad most likely killed her mother, and is just like a regular piece of shit. So Marina goes back to pre-evil because she got like a letter that her mom's dead, and she most likely believes that her father sacrificed her. And Samurai follows her, and because she wants to protect Marina, she goes to the church and stamps the shit out of her. She runs away to the basement, and you can talk to him lying on the floor, and he melts. So, actually, I have to go back a little bit. This guy in the Enlightenment made like a weird, like flesh pillar. Don't take that as a weird metaphor. It's like a literal pillar, and he can basically revive himself. Like when he dies, he goes back there. Domek also did this. This is this right here. So basically, and Samurai goes down to the basement, goes into a different world because of Rare's sigil to destroy this because she wants Marina safe. Of course, Marina follows her because why wouldn't you? If your dad was killed by this weird stalker, you'd probably follow them as well. And you have a confrontation. Either, of course, this first, you can't kill her. That's how most of the times it goes. But you can't talk her down. She goes into, and if you do, she goes over here, she curls up, and she basically cries. Talking about how, oh, I love you, Marina, you're everything, all this stuff. She's very attached to Marina. Marina has no clue who she is. Marina's never seen her because she was in the ninth circle. She basically snuck around to even see Marina. Also, we have to talk about the Moon Scorch versions. So, Rare, right here, you can give his little pretty little face. If you want, you can give him a little kiss on his beautiful lips. He goes down and he starts the Festival of Termina, which basically just melts a whole bunch of people into weird monsters, and 14 people have to kill each other, and the last one survives. If they don't take long enough, or if they take too long, or they serve other things, they turn into Moon Scorch. This is Marina's Moon Scorch called Cocoon, and this is Samari's called Dysmorphia. So this is very much supposed to be represent the opposite. So this kind of cocoon is like, it's like weird. It might be like it might represent kind of represents this as like her dad, who's kind of literally holding her back. And also there's a whole bunch of things about how, translating being sexualized, and then her hand literally being in her crotch. Really cool spider thing. But what's important is her. Because out of most of the Moon Scorch, they're usually really bad things. They're usually like, oh, this is a really fucked up perception of themselves. This is a good example. She's literally leech. But if you look at Samari, she's a very malnourished and very frail girl. Then, after she Moon Scorch, she becomes like this, and she talks about her being radiated. Radiated. I'm beautiful. I'm perfect. Why this is it because Samari was always seen as like a weirdo? Was it because of her affiliation with Rare? I don't fucking know. We were supposed to get an update like last year. We still haven't, and the lore's fucking weird. Then we have to get into the endings, which makes, I'll talk more about the Yuri part of this. The reason why this is such a good shit is because no matter what ending you get, these two will most likely never meet again. So this is ending B. Ending C is not necessary right now. We don't need to talk about it, and that's into other lore shit. But ending B is Marina kills everyone and survives. It's usually called the fourth day. So Marina goes to a different country called Valand. I don't know what I think it's like Scandinavian, maybe, I don't know. But of course, there's a picture of her, and she had, she's a girl appears in the photo. This is very obvious. It's supposed to be Samari, but she's dead. Marina killed her. So even with this, if this is a doppelganger, or if no matter what, Marina physically killed Samari. And this one is ending A, which has, this is everyone, but it usually has 4 people missing. Because you have to go into this bunker, kill a new god, not like a new god, but just like a Logic, which is like a weird machine god. And those people who fought are dead for forever. And even though these two are here, it's very unlikely that these two appear together. Which kind of goes into why I really like this shit. Because it's, as much as it's overused, it's a toxic or doom Yuri. No matter what they do, they will never, the chances of them actually being able to live out their lives in a relationship are low. And even if there is, there's still the toxic relationship of Samari, either Marina being, listen, Samari's toxic. This is a bad thing. I'm not trying to say that stalking is good. I like her because she's weird, but it kind of forces them to, you know, because like Marina has no
30
clue who
minutes.
Sammy is.
We
And
probably shouldn't stop him.
sorry, my bad. I wouldn't. Sammy doesn't know Marina doesn't know who Sammy is until this festival. And even with this festival, you can very much not ever meet her. And of
This is
course,
just like we should probably be giving reminders like, hey, 5
being
minutes.
that Marina didn't really care too much about her father, but more she wanted information from him. Being,
Yo,
hey, did you
yo,
tell
yo.
me mine?
Hold on. I think you gotta wrap it up because you're at over 30 minutes. You're
It's just like
Okay.
take it a little quicker. We probably
Okay,
should have been
sorry.
giving you warnings.
There's one more slideshow.
Oh, okay.
Here's some cool fan art.
Oh,
These are all the artists because they're really cool. And yeah, that's San Marino, baby.
Yay!
Best ship of all time.
Okay, people.
Woohoo!
yay!
Now, do you have any
Yay!
questions?
I'm good.
I don't have any questions, but that's cool. Like, there's so much. It's just such a fascinating story. It's unique as hell.
Yeah. Oh wait, and also play Fear and Hunger 1 and 2. Buy it. It's like 30 off on Steam. I'll actually throw it here.
Does anything play yet?
It's 30 off, and Fear and Hunger 2 is also 30 off. Buy it now, or else I will kill
I
you
know.
in your sleep.